Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy expectation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Hi everybody, I'm Carrie and welcome to my Diva Tent. Today, I am so excited to be with you here today and to explore the magical, wonderful world of our imaginations and all the amazing power of our voices. To start, we're going to create a safe, magical place where we can do just that. I call mine a diva tent because I'm an opera singer. But you can call yours whatever you want. You could call it, say, Flint's Fort. Flint is my dog. Henrietta's Hideaway. You name it. The most important thing is that you make it your own. You can use a sheet like we did here. You can use pillows, scarves. Let's see, I've got some scarves here somewhere. You can use scarves. You can use, let's see, towels. Towels make a pretty good fort. Also, you can decorate it with a few of your favorite things, like books and toys. Perhaps you use paper and pencil. And if you want, and you don't feel like making your own fort at all, maybe you can just use your imagination and use that pencil and paper to draw a fort or a tent. Or you could use that pencil and paper to create art. And you could put it up inside your tent. Any of those things are wonderful. And you know what? You can think about even more things like, do you want it to be light or dark? High or low? Do you want it to be fancy? Mine's a little fancy. Or plain? Plain is good too. Big or small, any of those things are great. And one more, to me anyway, very important thing is, what do you want to wear in your tent? I love costumes. And in fact, I am wearing one of my very favorite pieces of clothing, which for me is my costume for today. And we'll be talking about some other costumes a little bit later. And as you are thinking about what you want in your tent, I think that I might sing for you a little song about what I have here in mind. Mozart and jewelry and books about singing, costumes and scarves and items for blinging, items that help a diva to sing. These are a few of my favorite things, with my jewels on and a long gown and a big deep breath. I open my heart and begin to sing and let the whole world right in. So, now that I've shared a little bit of my world, it's time to create yours. So, in just a minute, we can stop the video. You can stop it if you want. And with an adult's permission, that's pretty important, go find something or many things that you want to use to create your tent. So you can bring in some of the favorite things like I was just singing about. They can be any type of item you want. Let's see, I have a football here. This is seeing many a catch. I have some more books. This is a book about astronomy. I love to look at the stars. You can add some lights if you like. Any kind of items that might make your tent feel like yours. And again, you don't feel like it, and all you want to do is draw a picture or lay back and just imagine what your tent would look like, that is perfectly great too. Anything you want. So we can put the pause button on, we can push pause, and in just a minute, when you come back, we're going to use our imagination some more, and we're going to talk about how those imaginations inspire us to find our voice and use that voice to change the world. I'll see you in just a little bit. Hi everybody, welcome back. Or if you kept watching, let's continue. So now that we have our tent, let's see what stories we can create and really use our imagination. So speaking of favorite things, when I was little, one of my favorite places other than my room or my tent was the library. And there was even a reading tent in my hometown library, and I could spend hours in there. And I still, obviously, love books, and I love reading, and I love the way stories allow us to imagine and travel in our minds. And you know, that's particularly important right now when we need to stay safe and closer to home. But the best thing about stories and using our imaginations is that we can travel anytime we want. And then stories and our imagination help us do that. So my dad used to read and sing to me and my sister before we went to sleep when we were little. And he would often create his own stories and songs. So today, we're going to do that too. So I thought it would be fun if we did what's called a Mad Lib. But in this case, because we're in the Diva tent, I thought we should call it a Diva Lib. So you can call yours whatever you like. If you don't like Diva Lib, you could call it Devo Lib, which is the male form of diva. Or you could just call it Mad Lib, or you could call it your own name lib, whatever you like. So as a refresher, a Mad Lib is a fill-in-the-blank story where you get to choose different nouns and verbs and adverbs, etc., and make up a fun story. And what happens usually is that you don't know what the story is, and then you're just asked to list nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, etc. So why don't we do this? Because I'm a singer, I will read my story to you and then I'll sing it. And to save time, I've already filled mine out. So first, I'm going to pick a tune that I'm pretty sure a lot of you will already know. And that tune happens to have been written by our friend Mozart here, who I am sad to say may have been covered a little bit in the earlier part of our video here. So here's what Mozart looks like. Sometimes he likes to wear his purple wig, and here he is without. There he is. So Mozart wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which is a really fun song. And you may not even know that it was written by Mozart, but he wrote it. Mozart. Anyway, Mozart wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And as a refresher, why don't we sing it together? And if you don't feel like singing, you can move. And if you don't feel like moving, you can just sit still and listen. So here it goes. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So wonderful job, no matter how you chose to participate. And so now I'm going to read for you my Diva Lib, and then we'll put it to music. So first I'll read it, and mine is called Moon and Stars. One night I was fill in the blank, and I chose the word reading, which is a verb. One night I was reading a book, and I decided I needed to blank my blank. And in this case, I wrote walk my dog. When we got outside, we looked up and saw blank was next to blank. We looked up and saw that Jupiter was next to Mars. It was so magical that I blank for blank, that I gasped for joy. I began to blank, I began to sing, and my blank began to blank, and my dog began to bark. I was sure it was a blank. It was a sign. And it made me feel blank. It made me feel alive. So now I'm going to sing the tune, Twinkle, Twinkle, but I'm going to put my words on top of it. And what you'll notice is that in some parts of the Mad Lib, Diva Lib, Song Lib, I changed the rhythm. And as a refresher, a rhythm is a repeated pattern or sound. So when we get to that part, you can change the rhythm a little bit too. So let's see what that sounds like. One night I was reading a book and I decided I needed to walk my dog. When we got outside, we looked up and saw Jupiter was next to Mars. It was so magical that I gasped for joy. I began to sing and my dog began to bark. I was sure it was a sign, and it made me feel alive. So, there's an example of my Diva Lib, and I'm really excited to see what you might create. So you can be thinking about fun verbs and adverbs, nouns and adjectives that you might want to use in your Mad Lib/Song Lib. So let's write one together so that we can get an idea of what kinds of words and descriptions we want to use. So, for example, I'm going to choose a verb or action. And maybe we make it really fun and choose some silly verbs like, I don't know, so I love to watch animals out in a pasture eating grass or hay. So let's look at words like, how about graze and munch? So you could put, that would be hilarious actually, in that first sentence, you could say, one night I was, and then maybe you could add two verbs. You could say, I was grazing and munching. I totally love that. So we can take that even further and use descriptive musical terms like slow or largo, which is the word for slow in music, or presto, which is the word for fast in music. Also, there are words like loud or forte or soft, piano. So we can speak or sing the line with that description. So to recap, when you put your verb into your Mad Lib, for example, you can choose any kind of verb you want. It doesn't even have to make sense, and that's part of the fun. And then if you want to take that even further, you can use a description and an adverb, that describes how you want that word to be said, whether it's slow or fast or loud or soft. So let's try that. So for example, you could do the same sentence with a verb and a descriptive musical adverb. So it could go something like this. One night I was grazing and munching. So I used presto or fast for grazing as a musical adverb, and then for munching, I used largo or slow. You could also do it like, one night I was grazing and munching. So I used loud and soft with my verbs. So that's a lot to process, but I'm sure you have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about. So the more you have fun with the words that you put into your Mad Lib, Diva Lib, Song Lib, the better and funnier the story becomes. So I'm really excited to see what you might create. What kind of words do you like to use? What nouns, places, people, things? Could be an animal. Do you have a favorite color? Colors are great adjectives to describe, like a black horse or a white cat. Those are great things. So you can let your imagination run wild and free, and you can even pick a different tune than I did. So I'm really excited to see what these Mad Libs will do to your brain and how your imagination takes them and runs with them. And maybe you could even share those with us at Washington Performing Arts too. Very excited to see what might happen there. So give it a try. And in just a little bit, we'll continue on and we're going to explore this incredible superpower that lives inside you, your voice. So back in just a bit. La 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 la. So again, welcome back. And if you never left, let's keep going. So as we're discovering, our imagination is so powerful and it has limitless potential for stories, for songs, for so many, many things. And you know what else? You have another particular superpower inside of you that is stronger than anything you can imagine. In fact, what if I told you that it's the most powerful thing there is? It's your own unique voice. Singing is my superpower, my way of expressing who I am. You will find your own voice, and it will be beautiful. It will be your superpower. Let's start to imagine and discover what that could be and what it might sound like. So let's now try a few fun vocal exercises to see what our speaking and singing voices can do. Now, yes, we've already sung Twinkle, Twinkle, and we've already played around with words and different combinations in our stories. But now we're going to really settle in and figure out what our speaking and singing voices can do. When I make sounds, when I start to sing, when I'm warming up, I like to make sure that I sit up or stand up nice and tall, and that I speak and sing with confidence. And sometimes it's fun to maybe imagine yourself in a place where you really feel confident. It could be in your tent, it could be in your room. And you might use that confidence that you feel when you're alone by yourself or with others, and use that for when you are getting ready to make a sound or sing. So I like to start with some fun speaking phrases to sort of warm myself up and connect with my voice. So the first one is easy, and here it goes. I say, sitting up nice and tall, take a nice deep breath in, and I say, "This is my voice." Now, why don't you try it? And you don't have to sound like me. I want you to sound like you. Go ahead and try it. This is my voice. Okay, that's great. See what happens if when you do that and continue to try it, you really think about what that means and what your voice sounds like. It's such a fun way to explore. You have this wonderful resonating chamber here in your chest. You have all these resonating chambers in your head. And when I say resonating, it's where the sound moves around inside your body. And you can feel that just when you're speaking or yelling to your brother or sister or mom or dad or friend from another room. You can feel that power. So now that we've tried "This is my voice," let's try another phrase. A favorite phrase of our friends at Washington Performing Arts is a phrase that says, "Everybody in, nobody out." So everybody's invited to the party, right? Everybody is included and no one is left out. And that's how I hope you all feel when we're singing together. Everybody's included. So let's try that. Everybody in, nobody out. Let me hear you say it. Try it again. Everybody in, nobody out. Great. So we're playing around with our voices and seeing what they can do. We're also seeing how we enunciate words and what it feels like when we do that. And when I say enunciate, what I mean is when your tongue and your teeth and your lips meet and they make sounds, and that it's nice and clear. Now, this is a word we've been using a lot earlier in our time together and throughout. Imagination, and there are a lot of wonderful sounds there. Imagination. Can you try that with me? Imagination. Just play around with what that word sounds like, and you could go from high to low. Imagination. Or you could go low to high. Imagination. So try that for a little bit and see what it feels like. Now, I think it might be fun if we did a little song that some of you may have heard. It's kind of a nonsense sing-songy phrase. And it's singing. And it goes a little something like this. Anna, banna, bo, banna, banana, fanna, fo, fanna, me, my, mo, manna, Anna. And you can add any word or name in there, I should say. Put any name in there. I'm going to use my dog, Flint, as the name. So let's see what that sounds like. I bet this is going to be fun. Flint, Flint, bo, bint, banana, fanna, fo, Flint, me, my, moment, Flint. Great, right? And you can even use, I'll use my name. Carrot, carrot, bowberry, banana, fanna, fo, fairy, me, my, mo, Mary, Carrie. And I'm using my voice, and I'm listening to what it sounds like, and I'm playing around with high-low, medium sounds, all sorts of words. And it's fun because your brain's like, what are those words? What are you saying? But it's fun to kind of move your voice around and see what it can do. I also love to use the following phrase when I actually start to really sing and warm up my voice. I love to sing. So you can try I love to sing, and you might, in the same way we did This Is My Voice, let's now try I love to sing. And can you put your hand on your heart and feel the love? I love to sing. And it might sound a little something like this. I love to sing. As a reminder, we are developing your voice, your superpower inside of you. And I don't expect you to sound like me. And you'd have to sing pretty loud for me to hear you through the camera or through the screen. But I know that you are able to really feel your voice vibrate in your heart and connect to what's real inside of you. And that's what's real, feeling your heartbeat and connecting to your voice. So when you say, I love to sing, if you don't really love to sing, you could add another word in there, like, for example, I love pizza. You could think of the word pizza and say the word sing. So let's try that. I love to sing. Try that a few times and see how that feels. And you know what? You can also do the following. How about finding another word that you might like? And sometimes I like to use, we just use the word pizza. Maybe we use a dessert now. Maybe we say snickerdoodle. That's a fun word. It's kind of a nonsensy word. Probably belongs back in our Mad Lib. Snickerdoodle, by the way, delicious cookie. So can we try snickerdoodle? Snickerdoodle. Kind of sounds like what it tastes. Snickerdoodle, yummy. Snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle. Just say that a few times and express those words in your mouth. See how that feels. Now, snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle. You can try that. Or if you want to go simpler, you could go snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle, snickerdoodle. Just feel what it sounds like. Feel what the words feel like coming out of your mouth. I think that this kind of exercise and using our voice in this way is such a fun, exciting thing to do, particularly when you're not sure, hey, I wonder how that sounds. Let me try that out. And now that we've created this wonderful space for ourselves and we have our tent and we've learned about storytelling, it's fun to explore using our voice in these different kinds of ways and really hearing what our voice sounds like. And it's important to say that I'm not just talking about singing voice. I'm talking about speaking voice, but I'm also talking about the way you express yourself through other types of things like dance. You can have a voice when you dance, and they can speak very loudly, but you're not making any sound out of your mouth. You can draw a beautiful picture, and that can be your voice too. It's such a fun and wonderful thing to be able to discover your voice and to find what it can do. And I know that each and every one of you has that power inside of you, because when we combine our imagination and the power of our voice, we are unstoppable. You have a voice that is your superpower, and you can be anything you want to be. You can sing with it, dance with it, draw with it. You can do anything you want. Our voices and our imaginations are powerful, and they have limitless potential. Using your imagination, you will find your own unique voice and superpower, and you will use it in amazing ways. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.